Able to hear me? Give me just a second, guys. All right. So I can hear everything, so I don't need this. Okay. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me just check this out real quick. I hope you guys are all doing well. Let me see if I can turn it up a little bit here. Okay. So if you guys can hear me, and you can hear me well, go ahead and throw those thumbs up and hearts for me. We are doing something a little bit different here. As you can tell, I'm slowly starting to put together everything over here. And so it looks like you guys can hear me good. How's everybody doing? I'm trying to read comments here from Facebook. Unfortunately, I don't have it where I can see all the comments from YouTube and Periscope and everything at the same time. But I wanted to come on here and chat with you guys for a little bit. And a little bit about what's going on. I see a lot of people are talking about the, November 4th because it's coming up. So I see a lot of people are interested in that. I wanted to come on here though, and there's something I just put like a little post about it the other day as far as just on text. But I'm gonna actually do something about hopefully maybe a little short little video about this or something, but about the gender neutral emojis that were just released on iOS 11.1. Now, and it's not just the gender emojis. I mean, and I'll discuss this a little bit, but they also added a little hijab emoji too. So first, I'll just kind of briefly touch on the gender neutral emojis. I'm not really sure what that's even for, besides catering to people who don't want to identify as either a male or a female, but these really left-wing, radicals out there that believe that there's other genders besides male and female. Because here's my argument with that, is that if you are a female who happens to have a shorter haircut because you like to wear your hair that way, or let's say you're even lesbian, right? I mean, that's fine, but you're still a female, and these females still admit that. So why not just have a little female emoji with short hair? Why does it have to be a gender neutral? Unfortunately, in today's day and age, it's inevitable. You use technology. You know what I mean? You use technology. Let's see what it says here. As far as I could tell, a drawing is neither male nor female. It's an illustration, an inanimate object. Gender neutral emoji. Yeah, I know. It's just, as you would say, let's say, sort of, that I'm aware of two like religious sort of emojis. One is the hijab one, and then there's one right above it, which is one of those like chic, hairdos, like the, those raps that they do, the Indians, the chic Indians. And it's just kind of like, all right, so why are we kowtowing to particular ideas? Why isn't there an emoji for a Jew or a Christian, or something with, you can't say that a hijab is not a religious thing. It is. It is. Now, if you happen to live in Saudi Arabia or some of these other places, yeah, you might get beat or stoned for not wearing one, even if you're not necessarily religious. But that is a religious, garment that they force their women to wear. So what I don't understand is, why isn't everybody equally represented? Why is it that these minorities and people who are trying to, whether it's a minority when in the case of transgender, or in Muslims are not a minority, but they're both attacks on the social structure of this country. One is they're trying to normalize a very, very small minority. The other one is they're trying to normalize Islam. We already know that the left is aligned with Islam. That's open, okay? The only people who commit terroristic acts, are either Muslims, Muslims or left-wingers in this country, okay? If you look at all of the pretty much terror attacks, now you're always going to have someone from any group that's going to act out. But I'm talking about on a large scale, percentage-wise, when you look at terroristic acts, whether they're domestic or from outside that have happened inside this country, they all come from either Muslims or left-wingers. That's really the majority. Again, you've had a person who wasn't a left-winger and who wasn't a Muslim that also, I'm sure, shot some people up or did something. But in a statistical, analysis, if you look at this, the numbers are going to be much larger for people who identify as Muslims or people who are crazy left-wing supporters. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. I'm trying to just look at some of these. So the bathroom thing is still, I see that's being talked about, but a little bit. But so this is, I didn't hear anybody talking about this, especially the emoji thing. It's so subtle that most people would be like, you know what? It's an emoji. Like, who cares? But let's think for a second here, okay? Every single child that once they get to a certain age, I mean, kids now are getting things that weren't available when I was a kid, right? When I was a kid and I was in elementary school, entering middle school, it was like pagers, like beepers were like the big thing. If you had a beeper, like you were cool, right? And I even had to get the beeper that was like a portable answering machine, and that was like, ooh. And now kids have iPod touches, right, that don't have cell service, but they have Wi-Fi. They have these emojis on there, and they're seeing these things, and they're becoming like desensitized to it being the norm, as opposed to it, which is the fact, which is it's not the norm. Like, yes, you have these people. Look, if you want to have an emoji in a burqa, cool. But you should also have the emoji of all the other groups as well. Why are particular groups being more represented on a social level than others? I'm not really sure how more people don't really see that this is going on, but this is a direct attack on children, on society. They're trying to normalize things. We already see it all the time. Transgenders and these people who are suffering from a mental illness is what I think it is. If you're transgender, like, that is a mental illness, okay? We're normalizing mental illness. Like, oh, it's okay. Like, you're not mentally ill. You're just transgender. Or normalizing all of these attacks that continue to happen that are from radical Islamists and from people who follow Islam. So when you see that and you're a kid, like, you don't know any better because you don't understand anything. But you remember, oh, this little emoji, like, it's just subtle ways of attacking people. So anyway, I want the rebel flag emoji. Yeah, good luck. That'll never happen, I'm sure. We can't even, they put a blue hat emoji, someone pointed out to me, but there's no red hat emoji. Gee, I wonder why, right? What does this say? Let's see. I'm going to try to read some of these comments, guys. It's a little bit of a delay because of the way this whole setup is, but let's see. When I was a kid, we had a rotary phone, and it was a party line. Kids nowadays do not even know what that is. Scott, actually, I heard about that the other day, where it was like, it didn't have it when I was growing up, but my mom was telling me about this, where it's basically like a few different houses would share the phone line. So like if you'd have to wait till someone was on or off, it's crazy, like how it used to be. I didn't have that, but my point is that they know that these, like, look, these things right here, right? iPads, iPhones, all this stuff. These are all like what everybody wants. See, what they're doing too is they're also causing it to be. Oh, what happened here? Let me see. Oh, it's still working, I guess. Cool. Because they also know that in the United States of America, and I was explaining this to someone else the other day, in the United States of America, Apple holds the majority for the smartphone market share. Now, internationally, Android does, okay? So, and by a pretty big percentage, they do worldwide. But in America, iPhones are the most popular smartphone that people use. So what they're doing is they're making their own emojis that if you have an Android phone and I have an iPhone and I send you this emoji, you won't be able to see it because it's not supported yet by Android. So essentially what they're doing is they've created these new emojis now where everyone who manufactures a phone will eventually also have to get on board because that's the way Apple does things. They basically shove it down your throat and you're gonna like it. And that's what they've done with all their products, and that's what they're doing here, except now it is definitely, in my mind, an attack on the social structure of this country and really around the world. They're trying to normalize this stuff. If anyone else can give me an example or an explanation as to why, besides the points that I'm making, gender-neutral emojis are necessary, besides pandering to those people, I'm open to that discussion, but I don't see how that's possible. I don't see how that's possible because I wasn't thinking in my mind, oh yeah, you know what would be great? A gender neutral emoji. Or wait, how about one with a hijab? Okay, well, actually, I shouldn't say. There's another emoji that you could put before that, which is more towards the end of the emojis. You might know which one I'm talking about. But you could put that one and then the person in the hijab. That's cool. But otherwise, I don't see the point of it. This is just another way of the left attacking us. The left controls everything, pretty much. Hollywood, the tech industry. I mean, you can't go throughout your day and not come in contact and use things that the left has something to do with. We're talking about, it goes even as far as food and everything, every single category. So as much as we all want to boycott products by people who we know are open leftists, the fact of the matter is that unless you want to live in the middle of nowhere in the woods without buying anything or doing anything, living off the land, generating your own electricity, doing everything, you're giving money to leftists, and that's just how it is, unfortunately. So it's like we feed this thing that keeps attacking us. But there is no other way to do this except that we have to do things like what we're doing here at Patriot Media and other places. But because Patriot Media is what I do and all of the live contributors here, like this is a particular reason why we need more things like we see it. We see Antifa. I mean, why is everybody talking about November 4th, November 4th? Well, I mean, look, I think that there is legitimacy to it if you live in a hellhole like Los Angeles, right? I've lived there. I could tell you that you are grossly outnumbered for the most part, okay? If you are a conservative, or even if you support Trump and you're not a conservative, you could say you're a libertarian, but if you support Trump, you're like the worst thing on the face of the planet, right? So they look at like they want to eat you, right? So we're talking Portland, Oregon, LA, New York City. I would be a little bit concerned in these type of places. Hell, I'm in Miami now, and yeah, there's a chance of it, but I won't be doing anything except for going to shul because it's Shabbat, so I don't do anything except for that. So I'll probably be fine. I'm not overly concerned. I think that something will happen, probably. I don't know that it's going to be to the grand scale as like everybody's been making it out to be. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. You never want to be unprepared for something. That's for sure. You always want to be prepared, but I wouldn't be scared. In other words, their whole goal is to prevent people from going out and living their lives. The same thing as like what terrorists do. That they're domestic terrorists. Antifa are domestic terrorists, right? I mean, terrorists, their goal is to get you to stop living your life as you want to live it and walk around with fear all the time so that you don't live life, right? That is what their goal is. And Antifa is apparently trying to do the same thing, which is, oh, we're anti-fascist, but yet, you don't believe in something that we don't like what you're saying, we're going to come bash your face in. Or, oh yeah, November 4th, we have to overthrow the Trump-Pence regime, and you better watch out if you're a police officer, da-da-da-da-da, all this other thing, right? I mean, it's just to scare people. Are some people dumb enough to do something? Yeah, I think so. Do I think that this country is on the brink of like a really big potential, another civil war? Yeah, I do. I think that it is. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. We don't know where this stuff is going. We're doing our best. Yeah, Trump's in office, so we accomplished something, right? We accomplished something as the Patriot movement. We're doing something, but it's not one man, right? Everybody's got to chip in here and do something because we're being attacked. Like Patriot Media is being attacked, and way bigger places than Patriot Media are constantly on attack. And the only way they survive is because that they're a larger establishment and they've gotten to that point, so they're able to sort of play defense a little bit better, and in some cases play offense. But Patriot Media here, this is less than a year old, and we really need your guys' support. We need your support to be able to grow this because we are making a difference. So yes, it may not be the largest difference on the face of the earth, and it may not even compare to some other larger places, but we are making a difference, and it's because of all you guys, because of everybody who shares our stuff, who likes it, especially the patrons. A big shout out to the patrons and the top tier patrons, because without them, they're basically what if you are a patron, what you are doing is you are helping accelerate this thing known as Patriot Media, which is essentially what you're doing is we started a little fire here. I started a little fire here. That's basically what happened. I started it, and then I took it bigger, and I decided, no, it should be like this. And I started getting live contributors. And I have more things. I see a future for this, but we can't do it without you guys' help. And so all of the people who do everything from sharing posts to sending us information to, whatever, going live and talking about Patriot Media, that you saw this at Patriot Media, that you heard this, whatever, all those things help. But if you want to add fuel to the fire, you go to patreon.com/Patriot Media and sign up for $1 a month. If you do that, you guys are helping pour gasoline onto the fire so that we can really grow this and become a larger force for making a difference, because ultimately we are making a difference. One person at a time. There's plenty of people that I've known that have come and messaged me and said that they may not fully agree with everything, but that they appreciate, what we're doing, and that they do admit that some of the points that are said are good points. So that's what we're trying to do, right? I mean, we are not claiming to be unbiased here at Patriot Media. We have opinions. I've got opinions, right? Joe Geneva's got opinions. Billy Sessions has opinions. Kool-Aid has opinions. Jamie's got opinions. Everybody that goes live from Patriot Media has opinions. Sometimes they agree, sometimes they don't. Doesn't really matter, right? Because at the end of the day, we don't have to agree on everything. We don't. We don't have to agree on everything. That's fine. That's fine. But we have to at least allow people to be able to speak about facts. Now, people can have different interpretations on facts as far as how they feel a solution should be brought to that particular subject. And that's usually where the disagreements come in. But when we're talking about people who have been brainwashed by the media for years and years and years, and we're able to just kind of make that little puncture for them to maybe wake up, because ultimately that's what we have to do. We have to wake these people up, because a lot of them are like zombies walking around. Let me try to read some comments. When a rainbow flag is more protection than the American flag, it says our country is really messed up. Yes, Don, I agree with that. Sharing posts is vital. Yes, that's true, Jersey, 100%. We're glad that you guys share, and again, we really need people to become patrons, to step up, to do $1 a month, 5, 10, 20, whatever you could do. Whatever is comfortable for you and you feel Patriot Media is worth, you should head on over to patreon.com/Patriot Media and become a patron, because that is how we grow this quicker. This is still going to continue to grow. Whether I have 1 patron, 0 patrons, 1,000 patrons, doesn't matter, because I'm going to continue to do this regardless, and any chance I get, I'm going to continue to put the money where it needs to be put, because I believe in this. All of the people who quote unquote, they volunteer for Patriot Media because they're non-employees, because we don't have anywhere near the amount of money to be able to actually pay employees. So they're doing all of this because they believe in what we're doing here. And you guys all believe in what we're doing here. So help us out, keep sharing our posts and keep signing up on Patreon. If you're on Patreon already, again, we thank you. And I wanted to let you guys know, we just started a Discord chat channel. So I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Discord or not, but if you head on over, I posted the link to the chat group on the Patriot Media page. So after this, if you hop out and you scroll down and you find it, you can go ahead and join there. And if you're a patron and you have your account, like when you sign up and you have your Patreon account, if you have the same linked with your Discord, you'll get a special title inside of the chat, which differentiates you between everyone else in there and being a patron. Just the same way an admin or a moderator is noticed. So you have the Patreon role, and then you have the top tier patron role, which is like a special one that's above. It's like an order. So we just started it out, but because it's able to do it, I've rolled it out as another reward that we've added. And again, like I said before, these are ways of saying thank you for you guys being patrons. So you'll see that the rewards will keep being added to. And on that note, I did make a post saying that on my last video of the top tier patron video, I did miss some people. And I think a couple people actually got pretty upset, but didn't actually say anything to me. And I did not realize that the list that was generated was missing some names. So whether or not you are still a current patron, I'm going to mention. I asked last week what that is all about. I don't understand it. Went there to donate to Billy and he never came. Patriot Media is the platform. Billy Sessions is Billy Sessions. Billy Sessions is part of the Highwaymen. He's a live contributor for Patriot Media. But when he does his auctions, you know, that's for the Highwaymen and for his crew to get around and do what they need to do. When I, for instance, make a post or a post is made, a live, and if you guys have ever seen the posts that say like sponsored, that's because we put money towards them because Facebook will not allow our posts to really like get out to the people. The only way that my posts will reach people who actually already even like the page a lot of the time is by having to pay money to advertise for it. And that's just the way it is. We need different equipment. We need to expand. So this is the platform. Our live contributors could change at any time. We could add a new one. One could decide they don't, you know, they leave or whatever. So there will always be people on Patriot Media. Billy Sessions is one of them now. And so when you give money to Patriot Media, that goes directly to the Patriot Media funds in order to continue to grow. And it's, you know, that's really what it's about because we create content here. All of the different videos and all of the edited videos and all of the things that I am going to be getting more into now that I've officially relocated. And I'm still slowly putting everything together here. But eventually this will be a lot more frequent. Videos like this, it's going to be different desks, different things. So we're really basically elevating what we're doing at Patriot Media here. So that's where it goes. So in case you're wondering, there's a difference. If you want to give to Billy, you got to give, you know, you give to him, and that's to get him and his men around. But that doesn't help actually Patriot Media directly, in other words. So it goes directly to him. It would be the same thing as if he went on his own page and did an auction or something like that. Or, right, so that would be the same because you're still sending the money directly to him. It's no different except that he uses Patriot Media because he's a live contributor on Patriot Media, and I support what the Highwaymen do. So I don't have a problem with that. You know, and I've told him that before. So, and it's not, guys, it's not just for sponsoring Facebook posts. Okay, it's for a lot of other things. I mean, all this equipment that you guys don't really necessarily see like behind the scenes. It costs, you know, the internet, having to have the proper internet, you know, speed in order to transfer large files back and forth without it taking. See where this is going and the potential that Patriot Media has. So we continue doing what we do here, and we just need your guys' help. So if you have any questions about the differences, send us an inbox and, you know, sign up for anything. You can go to the website and see what Patreon is all about, so you get a little bit better understanding of what's actually happening there. Yeah, I'm not even going to touch that one. Thank you for clearing this up for me. I never knew where to give money to. Well, it depends. You know, pretty much that's what he does, is the auctions. Oh, thanks, Karen. I'm glad it looks good. Yeah, this is my camera finally being set up and working here. So this is the first time of it actually being official. But what I have to do though is get a different table. So because everything is behind me, all the computers and everything. So I'm gonna have to like spin around to change and whatever. It's not the right. It's a temporary table right now, is what it is. Will y'all be in Austin with Billy this weekend? I can never be on anything on Saturdays because it is Shabbat and I am Orthodox Jew, and I don't travel, electronics, nothing. So every time events are on Saturday, I can never make them to them because I just can't go. Sometimes when they're on Sundays, I'm able to if I can find a place to stay over Shabbat. It gets a little complicated. It depends on how far away it is, basically. Because sometimes I could travel right after, like I did for New Orleans, the first one. I left Saturday night, I drove all night, and then I got there early in the morning, around 7 or so, for the first New Orleans. So certain things like that can be done. That is a great picture. Well, thank you. How big do you want to get? Plans for expansion? What format? Well, basically, there's a lot of things that I think we should be doing here at Patriot Media. We really need to have better services and streamline everything so that way when we have our live contributors out in the field, that everything is linked all across, that we all have the same type of production equipment, so that way it all looks to the standards that I would prefer for Patriot Media to be able to compete with what is available out there now. So there's that. I also want to be able to get this message out in more places all across the country. I want more live contributors. I want, you know, we need to finish the website, which the website is going. There's a little hiccup that we came into, and we're working on that. We basically need a little bit of help in that department too, because something happened, but everything is fine. Just one of the people who was doing the website, who pretty much did all of it, had a family thing that's going on. So they kind of had to just take a step back for a moment, which is obviously completely understandable. Nice hat. Thank you. No driving on Shabbat. That's correct. Facebook is not viable long term. Well, that's correct, Benjamin. That's why we also have our other places as well. We have a YouTube channel. I'm also broadcasting right now on YouTube as well as Periscope. We have those. We also have a website, like I said, that we're going to be upcoming with. So we're also going to tie things into there. It's just a slow process, because trying to build something like this when you've never done this, I've never done this, so I learn as I go. Love your InfoWars shirt. Thank you. So anyway, guys, I mean, I hope everything sounds good. I hope you guys can hear me. I hope everything looks good. We're gonna keep doing lives like this, hopefully, as much as possible. We're also gonna eventually, like I said, we're gonna do some call-ins and see how that goes. Because basically, what I'm thinking is, for the time being, is if you have my personal thing on Facebook Messenger, you could just do a Facebook call to me, and I can answer it, and the microphone here will pick it up, and we can have like a call-in. So that's upcoming too. I'm just slowly putting it all together, guys. But I wanted to come on here and talk to you kind of about this whole emoji thing. Talk to you about, there's so much going on in the news about, Trump picked that his pick that he just had the other day. There's a lot of things going on in my mind right now, but it's all good, and we're all heading in the right direction. And we thank everybody who likes and supports Patriot Media, whether that's by being a patron or whether that's by sharing and liking our posts or sharing it on other social medias, any of that stuff. And you guys can go live from within the group as well, so you can provide your own commentary on whatever you think as far as going on in the news. And with that, guys, I'll see you soon. Take it easy.